All right, guys, what's up? Welcome to the stream, everybody. I know it's kind of weird. I'm doing another live stream today. I decided I wanted to just sit down and have a little chat with you guys. There's a lot to talk about, I feel like, and I'm just excited to get right into it. Hopefully, you guys like that little intro that I did. I have a lot of stuff we got to talk about today. We had some big news about Spider-Man No Way Home drop today. We had a lot of stuff. We had Falcon Winter Soldier, episode 5 of Invincible, episode 5 Falcon Winter Soldier, as I mentioned before. We had a lot of news on Multiverse of Madness throughout this entire week and Black Panther 2 news, all that kind of stuff. We have a lot of stuff to cover. I'm going to try to make this a weekly show. I don't know if I'm going to be consistent with it, but I want to do at least one show every weekend um, talking about whatever the news is for the week. So starting it off, I have a list of stuff I want to go through. I have a little game to play as well. And then if we still have time, if we're still under the hour mark, I will be doing a tier list for you guys. And so to start off, I want to talk about Multiverse of Madness wrapping this week. It wraps production this week, and it's almost going to have a full year of post production. That just tells you how much stuff is going to be going into this movie when it comes to post production. Now, obviously, post production isn't going to be an entire year because the movie comes out, I think, next May, and it's already April. So obviously, it's not going to be a full year of post production because you finalize the movie usually like a month or two before release, and then you have press and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, by that time, we're able to go to movie theaters to watch everything. But I'm pretty excited to see what what that movie has in store for us. We all know that the movie's going to be good. We all know the movie's going to be awesome, but it just depends like what is it going to contain because we don't even know who the villain is. We don't know if Wanda's a villain. We don't know if the guy who was helping train um Doctor Strange, the African American guy, I think with like the yellow suit. I think that's what he wore. Like if he was in the first movie, he was teased to be a villain. They could have done a full 180 and they could have him as the final villain for Strange in the end of his trilogy, and Wanda could be the villain of this movie. There's a lot that we don't know and we literally haven't uncovered yet. And so it's cool to see that like they've kept everything under wraps. They've been shooting for almost a whole year and there have been no set photo leaks or anything like that. We literally haven't gotten even like a super grainy 1440 or not 1440 144p photo. Like that's like the lowest quality photo and we still haven't gotten that. Like it's crazy how under wraps this project has been. Now obviously I think this project was mostly shot indoors, I think, because it's the Multiverse of Madness. Like it's a probably fully like 90% CGI movie. Now I'm notorious for hating on Marvel for using over CGI, and sometimes they do, but I think a Doctor Strange movie, I think that's necessary. You can't make a Doctor Strange movie without using a lot of CGI, and so I'm not going to complain. But yeah, it's worth mentioning. It's going to be almost a whole year post production. I'm going to say probably like 7 to 10 months of post production, and that's actually saying a lot because Spider-Man: No Way Home just finished filming about like 2 3 weeks ago, I think, or like yeah, about a month ago, and the movie releases in December, so that means they have almost a full year, but they're probably not going to spend the full year because that movie's probably going to have massive marketing since it's a Spider-Man movie. So that movie's probably only going to have 6 to 7 months post production. Um, I have a lot to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, guys. Spider-Man No Way Home, some big news dropped this week. I'll mention it later in the live stream, but I think that Multiverse of Madness has a lot of potential. I'm excited for that movie. I'm excited to see what Marvel does with the whole time thing because Kevin Feige also mentioned like he talks about this a lot, but he talks about having a balance in the MCU. I think that's a big thing, super important in the MCU because if you think about it, we have all of our space stuff and then we have our grounded stuff like Falcon Winter Soldier. We have to have these two mixed, and I think Kevin Feige does a good job of mixing these two aspects. So I'm glad that he's in charge. And speaking of Kevin Feige, we got a new Kevin Feige hat. We got the Multiverse of Madness Kevin Feige hat. I'm excited to see the new merchandise for that. We get some merch for Spider-Man No Way Home. Sorry, not Far From Home. Spider-Man No Way Home, but it wasn't anything cool in my opinion. It was just pretty basic merch. Like it was like all right. It just like I don't know. It wasn't that cool in my opinion. But I kind of wish that this like the whole like branding for Multiverse of Madness, I really hope that it's like not as basic as the other ones because there's a lot of stuff in this movie when it comes to colors. I feel like in Feige's hat showed that. If you guys look up Kevin Feige Multiverse of Madness hat, he had a lot on that. Like the hat had a lot of different colors, and so it was cool to see that. And I'm excited to see the other merchandise because if that hat ever goes for sale, because I know the Black Widow hat went on sale whenever when they showed at Comic-Con in 2019. So it was cool to see that, and I want to get that hat whenever I can because hopefully the hat comes out soon because I'm trying to buy that. But yeah, other than that, Multiverse of Madness, I don't know what I should say. Moving on to the news, Black Panther 2 starts production in summer. I don't know what to say about this, guys. Like I love Ryan Coogler. I don't know what they're gonna do with the movie though, because we still don't know if T'Challa is gonna get recasted from Chadwick Boseman to someone else, and I don't think it's the right time to recast Chadwick Boseman. Like I understand, like in 10 years, if Marvel wants to reboot the MCU and they want to like get a new Tony Stark, get a new Captain America, that all logistically makes sense. It's been at least 20 years since the first Iron Man movie or the first Captain America movie, so that all makes sense to me. And when they reboot it, they're not going to reboot it the exact same way that they rebooted the other movies. They're not going to, I mean, not, like they did the first movies. They're not going to make the same exact movies with different actors. It's going to be a completely new storyline. I don't expect them to start off with Iron Man if they reboot it. Hopefully, they don't reboot anytime soon. I don't think they will because they're going in a great direction. But I don't think recasting T'Challa, replacing Chadwick Boseman is a good idea right now. I just think it's too soon. There's a time and place for everything. I just don't think this is the time and place to recast T'Challa. It's just too soon. It's like less than a year, I think, right? Oh, well, production starts. They would have already had to recast him if they're going to recast him for Black Panther 2 because pre-production's almost over. Starts filming in a few months. So um, there's a working title. I don't remember the exact title. It's like Summer something, but usually working titles just have something small to do with the plot, or they have a little bit of like. Rarely are they actually the title of the movie. Just that's the way I play it because the working title sounds really dumb to me. But it's whatever. Working titles usually don't go that far. But I'm excited to see what they do with the movie. Ryan Coogler Ryan Coogler does a good job. Um, and with his creativity, and I think that he has a good chance of bringing back T'Challa in a good way. Like they don't have to replace T'Challa. They can just move the mantle down to Shuri, and I think that's what they should do. But if they don't do that, I understand. I just don't really know what way they're gonna go with that. I don't really know what direction they're gonna go with that. Um, but yeah, moving on. Falcon Winter Soldier episode 5. Now I'm gonna go into details. So Falcon Winter Soldier spoilers ahead. Let me put the banner up. Falcon and the Winter Soldier spoilers ahead, guys. If you haven't already seen the newest episode of Falcon Winter Soldier, make sure to check it out and then come back to the live stream. But I'm pretty excited to talk about this, guys. So if you haven't already checked out my review, you can check out my review. It's on the channel. Spoiler reviews on the channel. I'm basically going to use the same exact like list that I did for that video, except go into more detail since it's a live stream. So we start off at the beginning, directly from the previous episode. John Walker's pain. Oh my goodness. John Walker's pain was that it like they captured it so well. I think the director's name is Carly Sargard or something. I forgot her name. I apologize for that, but I think she did a great job. The camera work in this episode was awesome. This episode was definitely the longest one. It was like 61 minutes, but I think it was long for the wrong reasons. It was long because there were a lot of extensive slow motion shots. It didn't necessarily add to the story, but it didn't necessarily take away. So it's not something I'm like mad about, I guess. But I don't know. That's the only reason the episode was so long. It would have been literally the normal length of any other episode. It's just that there was a lot more slow mo. So I think that's something to keep in mind when you think about the length of this episode. Um, we also had that sick battle scene in the beginning. The battle scene in the beginning of this episode was so phenomenal. The choreography, like there were moments when you'd actually think Sam was about to get his head decapitated. Like there were genuinely moments where I was like fearful, like, oh my god, this man is gonna die. Um, but next up, John Walker gets booted as Captain America from being Captain America. And I think in this part of the episode is where like I think the most defining line in this episode is I am Captain America because it shows that John Walker is not going to back down from the Captain America mantle. No, he might not be Captain America anymore. No, they might have taken Captain America's mantle away from him, but in reality, you're not actually taking away from him because in his mind, he's always going to be Captain America. And I think that's something worth mentioning because of all of these like spin-off shows that possibly could happen, Dark Avengers, all that kind of stuff. He's not backing down, guys. He's not backing down from being an Avenger. and well, not an Avenger, but just Captain America in general. So I'm excited to see where that whole storyline goes. This episode set up so much. It's my second favorite episode. I would say episode 4 is my favorite, then episode 5, then episode 3, and then the first two I don't really have a ranking for. I don't have a ranking spot. I'm gonna be doing a live tier list for all the Falcon Winter Soldier episodes, or like a live ranking, I guess, with Brentley. So we'll be doing that next weekend when the series is over. But yeah, next up, we got to talk about John Walker talking to Lamar's family. Now, as you guys can already tell, I'm not going in order when I'm talking about this episode. I'm just going in like in a list of the characters and stuff like that. So John Walker talks to Lamar's family, and that scene itself was super emotional. John Walker, the actress who plays John Walker's mom and dad, she did a great job. She did a good job, and not only conveying the emotions, but like it actually felt like she like the way they acted in that scene itself felt like John Walker was part of their family now. And I think that's what made it like hit so hard. Like this episode was so emotionally like impactful, I guess, on the audience because we know this episode didn't have as much action. Like the first action sequence was super heavy, it was super crazy, like there was a lot of stuff going on, but overall, just like the action in general, wasn't really anything crazy in this episode, and the emotional aspects of this episode took over a lot. Talking about Captain America, I wanted to bring up this question right here. Do you think they will bring back Steve Rogers as a memory? I don't think they would. Non Falcon Winter Soldier. I thought that Falcon Winter Soldier would bring back Steve Rogers at some point. Maybe like he would come down from the moon. Or we don't even know if he's actually on the moon, but like on the moon or something like that. He comes down and kind of gives the speech um, to Sam, and he's like, okay, you know, you're worthy, and he kind of shows to Sam that he is worth that Sam is worthy of the mantle of the shield. But I'm glad they did it with Isaiah, and so I think that's the biggest thing that happened in this episode by far is just that conversation between Isaiah and Sam, Isaiah Bradley and Sam. That was crazy. That was like emotional. It was impactful. It was so like grounded and gritty. I haven't read any of the graphic novels or comics for Isaiah Bradley, but from what I've heard, it was very similar to the story told in those novels and books. So many people are saying that Marvel did a good job of keeping that stuff together, like keeping a lot of the story intact and not changing too much of it to kind of make it a little less like gore. You're not like a little less. Marvel has a record of fabricating things, I guess you could say, and like making it like so it's a little bit easier to digest for younger kids, I guess. And like they went right into the meat with this one, I guess you could say. Like they went like head first into it. It didn't feel like they were holding anything back when Isaiah was talking about his experiences to Sam. And Isaiah just has had bad experiences with that symbol of America, and he had his own experiences. But towards the end of the episode, Sam realizes that that's not what defines the shield. It's the person that holds the shield is what defines it. And so I think that's something that is worth talking about a lot, especially because this series really reminds me of WandaVision. Like the episode right before the finale, we get a lot of build up. We get a lot of build up, but at the same time, we get a lot of backstory and kind of closing off certain doors, I guess you could say. And so my favorite thing about this episode was like the ending part, which I'll talk about later. But we saw like they tease in WandaVision, they teased the Scarlet Witch costume in the episode right before the season finale, and in this episode they do the same thing. They tease it right before the season finale, and so you can see that similarity between like these shows. And so I like that similarity, but at the same time, like it did feel like right when I saw Sam open that briefcase, I was like, we're not seeing that this episode. And then when I hear a lot of stuff on Twitter, everyone's like, oh, I thought we were gonna get to see this episode. Like I kind of learned from WandaVision, I guess you could say, that we're not going to get to see like that final thing. Like that's the point. That's the big reveal in the finale is going to be Sam in his new Captain America suit with the shield and all that kind of stuff. But kind of backtracking a little bit, I want to talk about Zemo. Zemo is now not going to Wakanda, but he's going to the rafts. I thought the rafts were just a type of jail, like anywhere in the world, so it could be in Wakanda, but no, he's going to the rafts. So I think it's called the Dark Avengers, but I might be mistaken. It's like the team with the Miss Hydra lady, whatever that lady, and then all these other people. So um I think the post credit scene for this series is gonna be like the final scene is gonna be Zemo and then all the other Dark Avengers. I think that's what they're called, maybe they all get broken out of the raft, and then that kind of forms that team. And also the cameo was supposed to be teased in Black Widow. So that was the Miss Hydra lady. She was supposed to be teased. I think she'll have a big impact in the MCU. She's a former Shield agent. She's like a double agent, works for Hydra as well. So she probably has a big role in the future of the MCU. So I'm excited to see where that goes. We also saw the Dora Milaje take Zemo to the raft. So that was cool to see them. I don't think we're seeing Zemo or the Dora Milaje again in this series at all. Um, but I'm excited to see where the series goes in terms of like I wish we saw more of Zemo. I wish Zemo had more of a prominent role in this series because he was introduced so fast. But I kind of wish we got a little bit more time with him. I understand why we didn't because obviously it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I would rather have more time with Isaiah Bradley and Sam talking than jokes around with Zemo, especially in this episode since it's building up to the finale. Um, and then as we move towards the end of the episode, Sam gets the shield, training montage at the end. And then obviously we open up the box. We don't know what's in it. It's the suit. I think that this episode did a good job of building up to the end of the episode. Like the montage, yeah, it was kind of cheesy. Like it was like the Rocky montage. Like, yeah, like he's not going to become Captain America in a day. That's kind of what the montage was showing it as. But I like the way that they did the montage. The montage was well placed. They couldn't have done it any earlier or later in the episode. And it did a great job of capping off the episode. One thing I didn't talk about in my finale review is, I mean, not my finale review, my episode review is that the post credit scene. I didn't watch the post credit scene until after I uploaded the review and I saw all of the stuff on Twitter about it. So basically, the post credit scene was just John Walker making a new shield, and I was excited to see that. I was like, it was cool to see that, but I don't know what my man's gonna do with them, like an aluminum shield, bro. Like, what are you gonna do with that? My boy Sam has a whole vibranium shield. So I'm excited to see where the whole John Walker story goes. Hopefully, he goes to the rafts and then gets broken out in the post credit scene. That's kind of my prediction. This episode overall was phenomenal, guys. Like it was like it did a lot in like different spots, I think. And so I think that's why it was so good. It's not the best by far in my opinion. It's the second best, but it had emotion. It had just enough action to keep me satisfied. And it was definitely a slower episode. Like I prefer faster paced stuff, but this episode did a good job of keeping me engaged throughout the entire thing. Same thing with WandaVision episode 8, I think it was, which was the one before the season finale. Both these episodes in the moment I wasn't the biggest fan of, but when you look back at it and when I rewatched parts of it, I realized that okay, all of this was actually necessary in order to tell the story of the finale, in order to build up the season finale. And like I said before on my live stream and on the review earlier this morning, my watch party, I said this is the calm before the storm, and I think that's the best way to put it. There's no other way to put it. Like this episode had so much buildup and setup for the finale that we can't not see every single thing paid off. And I think we will. They did a great job of setting up the power brokers at the end and John Walker's character. I'm excited to see what comes up in the next episode. But now we're going to move on. I have a little game I wanted to play really quick. So basically, there's this thing that Phase Zero, which is a podcast hosted by Brandon Davis and the people over at comicbook.com. They have this cool graphic that they posted. I'm gonna make it a little bigger for you guys to see. But yeah, they had this cool graphic. It's basically pick one from each line, the rest get deleted. So I'm gonna pick one from each line, explain why I like each one. But yeah, now that you guys have seen, I'm gonna minimize it back. So pick one from each line, the rest get deleted. Line 1, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Shang-Chi right. I think it's Shang-Chi, but I'm not sure. I'm going Shang-Chi. The reason for this is because I think that this new style of combat in the MCU is going to be so cool to see. It's going to be more hand-to-hand combat. Obviously, we saw that in Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, in my opinion, is one of the best Marvel movies. And so I'm excited to see where they go with the combat in this series. I mean, in this movie. Personally, the costume that we got from the leaked toy, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite thing in the world, but I understand it's supposed to be a sleek costume. I don't think that's his final form costume. It's like if you haven't seen the picture, it's like a red, like it's just like a regular like red skin tight suit thing. Like I think it's part of that culture. But like that whole like the suit doesn't look that cool. It might just be the initial suit that he gets in the beginning of the movie. But I'm excited for the movie nevertheless because of the new style of action that we'd be getting and something that we haven't seen in the MCU just yet. Next on the middle row, which is arguably the most difficult row to choose from. We have Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, and Spider-Man: No Way Home. I'm gonna kind of rank these in what I want. So I'm gonna pick one and then I'll rank them. I want Multiverse of Madness for sure. Number one on the list. No, Multiverse of Madness is my most anticipated movie of probably 2021. No, 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 no. I take that back. The Batman is number one, most anticipated. Multiverse of Madness is second most anticipated. So, talking about Multiverse of Madness, we talked about it earlier in this live stream. I'm just so excited for the movie just because it can genuinely change the entire pace of the MCU. It can change what we know, what is even like we it can change what we even think is real. That's what I'm trying to say. Like there's just so much that is possible in this movie. Sam Raimi is a phenomenal director. He directed my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, in Spider-Man 2. And again, we'll talk about the Spider-Man stuff later on in this live. But he directed my favorite super oh my god, sorry about that. He directed my favorite superhero movie of all time. He directed one of my favorite superhero movies, not my favorite, but one of my favorites, like my top three probably. And he's back at it again. This movie ties in directly with Spider-Man: No Way Home, directly ties in with WandaVision. It has one of my favorite actresses in Elizabeth Olsen. You guys can see, I got the Funko Pop right here. I got the Funko Pop right here of Miss Elizabeth Olsen, Wanda Maximoff. I'm here. I'm ready, guys. I'm ready for this shit. I'm ready for this movie, and I'm excited to see what it brings. Next up, I would definitely say is Spider-Man: No Way Home, just because it leads directly into Multiverse of Madness. Now, by no means am I not excited for Thor: Love and Thunder. Thor: Love and Thunder is like my second most anticipated probably project of 2021 for the MCU or 2022 for the MCU. But that being said, it seems like it's going to be more of a joking movie, and I'm kind of scared because I know Gore the God Butcher is like a very very serious villain, and I don't really think that the whole comedy aspect is going to work too well, especially if we have like Taki Waititi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Taki Waititi directing the movie. Thor Ragnarok, it was good to have that comedy because Thor's character really needed it at the time. But Gore the God Butcher is a very, very serious villain. And the main reason why I'm actually still excited for Thor: Love and Thunder is because of Christian Bale playing Gore the God Butcher. Christian Bale is one of my favorite actors of all time, and I think he'll do a great job in the MCU. Hopefully, he doesn't necessarily get killed off because Gore the God Butcher is so powerful and he has a lot. He could do a lot in the MCU. So hopefully, he doesn't necessarily get killed off. Obviously, he's gonna have to get defeated in some like capacity. But I would say my rankings for Road 2 would be Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home, and then Thor: Love and Thunder. But I'm basically excited for Spider-Man and Thor equally. I'm like slightly more excited for Spider-Man just because it ties in directly to Multiverse of Madness. And then the final row, I'm kind of still questionable about this one. We talked about Black Panther 2 earlier, and then Captain Marvel 2 and Quantumania. So Quantumania I'm excited for because again, it'll introduce a whole new aspect. It'll dive us deeper into the quantum realm in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I think I'm excited mostly for Quantumania because of King the Conqueror. I think he's the main villain. King the Conqueror is a massive villain. So hopefully they don't waste him again. Hopefully they don't waste him hopefully they don't waste Gore the God Butcher. But I'm excited to see Quantumania. Captain Marvel 2, I wasn't the biggest fan of Captain Marvel 1. I did rewatch it, and I did enjoy it the second time I watched it. But I'm excited a lot for Black Panther 2. Like I said before, I think that Ryan Coogler's creativity, and I think that the characters and the supporting cast of Black Panther 2 can carry this movie. I think this movie has potential to be something special. Ryan Coogler has to be creative, and the writers at Marvel need to get their big boy pants on and start writing a crazy script for this movie because it's going to be difficult. It is very difficult. I don't think many of us even understand how difficult like this kind of task is. Your main lead role isn't there anymore, and so that's something that a lot of people can't even like. And you can't like personally. I don't want them to recast. So um, I don't know. I would say Black Panther 2, but I would say Quantum Mania is up there. It's not like I'm not excited for Captain Marvel 2. I'm excited to see where Monica Rambeau's character goes. I'm excited to see the beef between Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel. And I'm excited to see all of these like different relationships in that movie. I think we have Miss Marvel in that show as well. I mean, in that movie as well. So yeah, there's a lot in this show that could go down. So in the movie. I don't know why I keep saying show, but yeah, in the movie, there's a lot that could go down. Um, And yeah, so my list is basically pick one from each row. Shang-Chi. Wait. Yeah, Shang-Chi, Multiverse of Madness, and Black Panther 2. Let me know yours in the comments down below and in live chat. But now I want to talk about the biggest, actually, probably not the biggest. I'll save Spider-Man for the end of the stream. Now let's talk about some Wolverine. Okay, the Wolverine show. I was going to save this. I wanted to talk to Bradley about this, but he couldn't make it to the stream today. So we're going to talk about ourselves. The Wolverine show. So it's basically rumored that there's going to be a Wolverine show. Now, there are some pros and some cons to this, in my opinion. So there's the cons. A show, right? The cons of a show would be we get character development, but I feel like it would have to be more of an anthropology, which is kind of what Mando is. So it's just a bunch of different quests. And I feel like we wouldn't get as good of a backstory because I feel like Wolverine's backstory needs to kind of go in depth, needs to be a little more emotional. Yes, can the shows develop emotion and convey emotion to us? 100%. Falcon Winter Soldier did that like every single episode, so did WandaVision. But Wolverine, that's like introducing a brand new character in the MCU. I was thinking they should have a solo film with his origins and then do a show. But Brilly and I talked, and Brilly was talking about like the money that the original Wolverine show made, the movie made, and it didn't do good. The trilogy didn't even do that well. So I was thinking they do a Wolverine show and then they kind of do like the like flashbacks to his origins while still making it like an anthropology like what Mandalorian is. And then later on they do kind of a prequel and kind of show his real origins. So I don't really know much about the X-Men universe as a whole. So I'm excited to see that ends up being. But other than that, I don't have many thoughts about the Wolverine show. One of the biggest things I want to talk about in this live stream today, other than Spider-Man No Way Home stuff, was Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight training reel. I don't have much to say about it, but I'm excited. I'm very excited for this movie. For this show, and I just can't wait. Oscar Isaac is a super underrated actor in my opinion. He's going to be in Dune, which comes out October 2021. So I'm excited for this man. He was in Star Wars. The training reel just looks dope. If you guys don't know who Moon Knight is, he's basically like Batman, but like instead of two identities, he has like three, four, and it just depends what comic storyline. I think he has a lot of different personalities, and he struggles to balance them. So the new Batman movie is gonna have Bruce Wayne struggling to like match his identity. Like he's gonna have that identity crisis where he's like, I live my life better as Batman, but I also have to be this playboy Bruce Wayne. And so basically, this like Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight, he is like always in this state. Like it's not just like one-off characters that are like in this state for Batman. Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight character is like the Moon Knight character in general is just always having an identity crisis. And I hope this show tackles that really well. Oscar Isaac looks so good whenever he's fighting, bro. No, I don't even mean that in like that way. He just looks good fighting. Like I'm ready. I'm excited to see that man fight. And that training reel really, really got me happy. So now I'm going to share my screen. Let me figure out how I'm gonna do this. Share screen, application window. All right, so guys, this is basically the news for Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm gonna make this a little bigger for you guys. So I compiled 3 tweets from today. The tweets today have been going crazy. My tweet went viral, like a comment on one of these. So basically, Alfred Molina says in his early conversation with John Watts, Spider-Man No Way Home will pick up Doc Ock's story from that moment in the river. If you guys don't know that moment in the river, let me look up Doc Ock River. You guys should know this if you have watched Spider-Man 2 at all. But it's basically this moment right here. Yeah, so this moment right here, basically, where Doc Ock falls into the river. Wait, actually, I don't think this is the exact moment. But yeah, so basically, Doc Ock falls into a river. He was never confirmed to be dead or alive. So that's the cool thing. He was never confirmed to be dead or alive in the movie, and we never kind of got any like touch on that after. So it's cool to see that. I think that's super dope. But I'm just afraid they're gonna ruin his villain arc. I'm not as worried. Like I think that they'll do a good job like, okay, first of all, I hate John Watts. I'm gonna put that out there. I don't really like John Watts. I don't like what he did with the MCU Spider-Man. If you guys want to check out my full video on why I don't like the MCU Spider-Man, it's basically like a whole rant video. It's pretty good. I compared all the Spider-Man and all that kind of stuff. That'll probably be my only video ranting about the MCU Spider-Man until after No Way Home if I still don't like Spider-Man in the MCU. But yeah, check that video out if you haven't already. But I don't really like John Watts. I don't like the writing for Spider-Man MCU. But you can see all these things on the screen right now. It's going to pick up for the moment in the river. So I think that's already talking about some big stuff right there. Like, um, I have thoughts on this, but I at the same time I don't have thoughts on this. Like I hope that this doesn't ruin this man's arc. Like he had a great arc in the movie. He had one of the best villain arcs in the entire like superhero realm of movies. And so yes, he had a great arc so far. I'm just scared they're gonna ruin it. And so um I there's a lot of faith put in John Watts' hands right now. I'm not going to be negative towards this guy until I watch the movie. If I hate the movie, I will be very negative towards it. But as of right now, I'm going to stay neutral on these decisions. One thing that I'm not actually that happy for. Oh wait, actually, before I talk about that, I wanted to also bring up. You guys look at the bottom left hand corner. He's going to be using de aging technology for Doc Ock and Spider-Man: No Way Home. So what does this mean? This also means that Tobey Maguire is probably going to be using de-aging technology in Spider-Man No Way Home, and so that's also another pretty cool thing. Um, but yeah, and then also John Watts, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, John Watts said, "In this universe, no one really dies." So that is that roasting the MCU for not killing off a lot of characters? Yes, but I think that's a subtle roast at the MCU for not killing off that many characters. But I definitely think that there's a lot of faith right now put in John Watt's hands. I'm not excited for this at all. I'm actually pretty mad. I'm actually really mad about this. Um, I had a tweet. Let me actually pull up the tweet right now. Um, I don't really like what they're doing. I don't like what the whole idea is. So basically, in my tweet, I said so basically, okay. So you guys might know. I should just share the screen, right? Let me just screenshot this and then. All right. So I'm gonna let you guys see that. Um, so basically after this, BD tweeted. He said nothing's gonna be a surprise. It's kind of a bummer. So I agree with what he said, and so you guys can read my tweet down here where it says I agree to an extent. I think telling is us just enough is fine, but the cast needs to stop talking. It was cool to know that he was in the movie, but knowing about all these moving universe things shouldn't be said beforehand, in my opinion. So the reason why I said this is because like it was cool to know the man was in the movie. It's cool to know that William Dafoe was in the movie. It's cool to know these villains are in the movie, but I would have rather sat in the theaters and been like, "Oh my god, this is the Doc Ock from Raimi's movies." Like instead of being like, "Oh, I know that going into the movie." Maybe it's some context we need to know going into the movie, but we don't know that until we sit down. So how can you really blame me for thinking this? Um, but yeah, I'm still excited for the movie. I'm not gonna say I'm not excited, but like all of these things getting released really dies my excitement down. Personally, I'm not even that invested in saying like, oh, like I need to see leaks. I need to see leaks. Like no, like I never thought that way. Like I never ever thought that way. I'm never like I want leaks. I want photos. I want these cast members to confirm stuff. Maybe other people were, but I've never liked that. And so I'm excited to see what this movie still has in store because obviously there's still going to be way more surprises, but I just don't know. I mean, I'm gonna plan. I'm planning on doing a live stream, guys. I'm gonna do a big live stream where Brantley and I, if Brantley can make it, it'll be Brantley and I talking about a bunch of theories. We'll be scouring Reddit. We'll be going over our favorite fan theories. Hopefully, it's like an hour plus. Hopefully, I can get some guests on and we can get their theories. Um, it would be super cool to do. I'm excited. I'm gonna try and plan that out for you guys before I'm gonna probably do it like the first or second week of June, maybe. I'm gonna try and make it a little bigger of a live stream, do a little bit of a fundraiser. I have some big plans for this live stream because I feel like we can talk a long time about Doc Ock. But yeah, this is my opinion right here, guys. I agree that it's a bummer that we know this, but I think it's fine that the cast talks about it. I just felt like they got to do it to a little bit of a limit. You know, they do it a little too much. Um, but yeah, that's basically all of the Far From Home news. I am going to now do a quick tier list. So I'm going to try and do this every single live stream. I'm going to do a tier list at the end of every single live stream. Um, just something fun that I can do at the end of the live stream after a nice talk with you guys. So I'm going to minimize this really quick. Set up the tier list. But yeah, I am. Am I excited for Spider-Man No Way Home? Yes, for sure. I'm excited for Spider-Man No Way Home. But am I disappointed by this news? Yes. Yes, I am. Um, I need a full screen of that. All right, here we go, guys. We're now tier listing all actors that I could low key think of. I mean, there's obviously more. Don't come at me. I know this isn't the best list, but okay. These are the actors that I could think of. So we're gonna do all these actors. Is it a crazy amount of actors? No, but it is a decent amount. It is about 20 something, I think, if I can count properly. So we're gonna start off by doing. I'm gonna go in order of like the top list to the bottom, top to the bottom. So basically, we're going to be ranking some of these actors. So let's start off with Steven Yeun. Steven Yeun is pretty good. So in my opinion, actually, Steven Yeun is pretty underrated. He was really good in Minari. He's a good voice cast for Invincible. He plays Mark Grayson in the newest Invincible show. But I haven't seen him in much else. So I'm going to put him at B. I think his acting is phenomenal. I just don't think I've seen him in enough things. So next up we have Michael B. Jordan. I was going to call him Killmonger, but yeah. So we have Michael B. Jordan up next. I'm gonna put Michael B. Jordan at a B as well, but I might move him up to an A later on. All right, yeah. Robert Pattinson. I'm gonna put him at an A. I don't think he's an S tier just yet, but I do think he's getting there. If this Batman trilogy, if his performance is good in this trilogy as a whole, which will probably be like the next 5-6 years, I think he'll be an S tier. Lighthouse, he was awesome. He played a super dark character. In Good Time, he played a gritty character. I know a lot of us know him from the Twilight movies. I've never seen them, but obviously that's where I first knew his name from. Um, we know him from the Twilight movies, but he can do much more than that. I promise you guys. He focused on a lot of smaller movies, right? Like he basically like left Hollywood after Twilight. Um, but yeah, next up we have Paul Dano. Paul Dano, in my opinion, is Paul Dano, in my opinion, is an A tier as well. He's going to be playing the Riddler. Oops. Yeah, he's going to be playing the Riddler in the newest Batman movie with Robert Pattinson in it. He did a good job in Prisoners. He's also in a few other smaller roles sprinkled here and there. So I'm going to put him at an A. A is going to be like really really good, but like just not like legendary, you know. So that's where Jake Gyllenhaal's going as well. A tier. Nocturnals, Velvet Buzzsaw, Prisoners, Nightcrawler, you name it, this man was in it, and he did a phenomenal job. Nightcrawler, that improv scene at the mirror improv scene, phenomenal. One of my favorite movie scenes of all time. The lining up of the mirror. If you guys have already seen that, make sure you guys go check that scene out because that scene is practically perfect. Next up, we have Timothy Chalamet. I'm gonna put him at D tier. D tier doesn't mean he's bad, but he just doesn't have that versatility that I look for in actors. Next up, we have Cillian Murphy. I would put him at a B. I think he's good. He's great in Peaky Blinders. He's great in the Batman movies. He plays a lot of smaller roles and other things, so I think he's a B. He could definitely go up to an A someday, but yeah. Next up, we have The Rock. I'm gonna put him as a D as well. He basically plays himself. If his performance as Black Adam is very, very menacing, I will move him up to a C. But as of now, he's a D. Aaron Taylor Johnson. Okay. I don't think I've seen enough from this man. I've seen Godzilla King of the Monsters and uh, the movie where he died off literally like in the same movie. He was introduced and killed off in Age of Ultron. Um, I'm gonna put him at a D. I don't really know his acting spectrum. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know his acting spectrum too well, so I'm gonna put him at a D. Next up we have Andy Serkins. I'm putting him at an S tier. He will go down in history. Not only are his mocap performances A plus, A tier, or not A tier, but A plus, perfect. He did a great job in the Lord of the Rings. He did a great job in Planet of the Apes. Those are his two like most famous mocap performances. And then he's also in Black Panther. He's gonna be Alfred in the new Batman movie. So he's doing phenomenal things. I love him. He's phenomenal. He's awesome overall. Next up, we got Chadwick Boseman. I want to put Chadwick Boseman at a B. Rest in peace, King. I don't know, man. Like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, phenomenal. Black Panther, phenomenal. Jackie Robinson, I don't know what the movie's called, but he played Jackie Robinson, phenomenal. He's just not up there. I think that I think that his voice performance in What If could actually move him up to an A because that shows versatility. If his voice has emotion and conveys the right feelings to me, I guess, then you can move up to an A because I think that's what moves Steven Yeun up from a C to a B. His voice acting in Invincible is so good. And I definitely think that I definitely think he's a great actor. That voice performance just puts him up a tier. What's up, Alejandro Samuel? What's up, bro? I'm just doing a tier list right now of the actors. This is what we have so far. If you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments. I'll get to them. But yeah, next up we have Chris Hemsworth, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm gonna put him at a B tier. I don't see much variety from him in his roles. I've seen Thor. Uh, yeah, I've seen him play Thor. I've seen him in Extraction. I can't really think of. I can't really think of. Let me see what other movies this man is in. I don't remember seeing him in anything. Men in Black, Huntsman, Star Trek, Heart of the Sea, Guardians of the Galaxy. No, he's on Guardians of the Galaxy. So, yeah, Chris Hemsworth is a B. Actually, Chris Hemsworth is a C. Chris Hemsworth, basic roles, but I think he does a good job in them. So not bad, but he can't do too much of a variety, I guess you could say. Chris Pine, I'm gonna put him at a C as well. I know him from Star Trek, and then I know him from Wonder Woman, but other than that, I don't know much. Ryan Reynolds, I'm putting this man at a B automatically. He's like one of the funniest men alive. Like he's crazy. I don't know much else to say about Ryan Reynolds. Next up, we have Oscar Isaac. I'm gonna put him at a B tier as well. Oscar Isaac's moving up there, guys. If Moon Knight is good, I'll move him to an A. He is already up there. Like he did great in the Star Wars movies. I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars movies, but I am a fan of his performances. He's gonna be in Dune 2021. That comes out this October. And overall, Oscar Isaac he's a great actor. And he also has a lot of potential moving forward because he's taking like crazy roles. He's gonna literally be playing a superhero. Next up we have Henry Cavill. I'm kind of split on this one because I like him in The Witcher. I like him as Superman, but I felt like Superman was more of a typecast. He's just a big muscular dude that looks really good. And then we also have him in Mission Impossible. He plays the same dude in Mission Impossible and Superman, it feels like, but like obviously they're different roles, but like they just feel the same to me. Um, Dang, I'm gonna put him at A. This might be a little controversial, but I'm putting my boy at A because The Witcher, his performance is phenomenal. I'm almost done with the show. I have like 2 episodes left. Phenomenal in The Witcher. And overall, I think he's a great actor, so I'm gonna put him at A for now. Next we have Marshall Ali. Marshall Ali is an A. Marshall Ali can stomp my face into a curve. He is so good at acting. Wait, I think I have one more actor that I want to put on here. Someone just texted me this actor's name while watching the stream, so. Oh, okay, I'm not putting. Oh, yeah, he's already here, so All right, we're good. We're good. So going back to Marshall Ali. Marshall Ali is good, bro. Moonlight. He's in Moonlight. And he also does really good voice acting. He's in Alita Battle Angel. I think that's the name of the movie. He's in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think he's gonna be in the upcoming Batman movie, but I'm not 100% sure. He has a crazy amount of Oscars, and he played Titan in episode 5 of Invincible, which is one of my favorite episodes of Invincible so far. He deserves an A tier. Moving on, Chris Evans. So I'm kind of torn with Chris Evans again. I think he's a B tier, but I think his diversity and his acting abilities puts him at an A. Especially if I'm putting Henry Cavill at an A. I think Chris Evans deserves an A. Not only is he Captain America, he did a great job in Knives Out. He did a great job in defending Jacob. He is a Broadway genius. He was on Broadway for a few years, so I'm gonna put him at an A. I think he's like there, but like I would say he's low A. Like I would say Rob Pattinson's high A, Paul Dano's high A, Jake Gyllenhaal high A. I would say Henry Cavill is lower A as well. So I'll put Henry Cavill and Chris Evans like borderline A and B. But yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch, I'm gonna put him at a B. Great job playing Doctor Strange. He's a good Sherlock Holmes as well. What else is he in? He was in this new movie called The Courier. It was a pretty good movie. His performance is pretty good in that movie. But yeah, next up we have Dev Patel. Oh my God, guys. Okay, here's the problem here. Brown supremacy is telling me to put him at an S tier, but I don't know. I truly don't know. Where am I going to put this man? I'm going to put Dev Patel. I'm going to put him at a C. I have to put him at a C. Respectfully, a C. Paul Rudd, the man who doesn't age. I'm putting Paul Rudd at a B tier. He has played such a different variety of roles, and I think that he literally does good in anything he steps foot into. He can do comedy. He can do action. Well, not like action, but comedy action. He was in Parks and Rec. He did a great job in that whole entire season that he was in Parks and Rec, and I think he is a good actor. I think he's pretty legendary. Next up, we have Tony Stark himself, the man, the myth, the legend, bro. I can't believe he's not playing Tony Stark anymore. Okay, we got Robert Downey Jr. We got the boy, Robert Downey Jr. A tier for sure. Sherlock Holmes, Mr. Doolittle, and then the infamous role of Iron Man. Like he does not miss. He's great in every role. I wasn't the biggest fan of Doolittle, but he was a great Dr. Doolittle. So I think he's great. Ryan Gosling, my boy. He is a perfect mix of action star and romance star, I guess you could say. He did a phenomenal job in La La Land, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm going to put him at a B. I think he deserves a B. Sebastian Stan. Oh, we. Sebastian Stan. I don't know where I'm putting this guy. I'm actually currently watching Monday, so that is I should have finished watching Monday before I got in line, but he was great in The Devil All the Time. He put on a lot of weight for that, and I think he did a great job getting into that role. And I think if he puts that dedication to other roles, he can honestly go down as a pretty good actor. He does a great job as Bucky Barnes. Currently watching Falcon Winter Soldier. We all know the vibes. I'm gonna put him at a C. I think he does a great job. No, I'm putting him at a B. I'm putting him at a B. Okay, here's the thing. I put Michael B. Jordan at a B. I have to put this man at a B. Okay. Shia LaBeouf. I don't like what he's done outside of acting, but he is a great actor. He's going in B tier. B tier is like above average. C is like average. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. So that's kind of what you guys can tell. Tom Hardy, easy A spot. Tom Hardy is phenomenal in every role that he touches. Inception, Batman, Mad Max, Fury Road. He does it all. He can do it. He has that perfect mix of like comedy and action, just like Ryan Gosling. And I think he does a great job in mixing it because he looks so intimidating. At the same time, he's just a gentle being. Okay. Next we have Tom Holland. Oh God, I don't know where to put the man. Okay, here's the thing with Tom Holland, guys. I'm literally investing my entire life into this man. Okay, I literally put like my entire mental focus on knowing this man is gonna be the next big thing. Okay, his movies don't perform the best. I will admit that. Cherry was not a great movie overall. You can check my review out on that if you really want to. But spoiler, it wasn't that good. But Tom Holland's performance was phenomenal. I didn't get the chance to watch Chaos Walking. I'm not planning on watching Chaos Walking anytime soon. I heard it was very, very trash because of the editing. But Tom Holland he's just a great actor. Dang, where am I gonna put Tom Holland? I'm putting Tom Holland B, but he's B borderline C. And I'm moving Shia LaBeouf up to A. I think that makes it a little bit more fair. Will Smith, he basically plays himself every time. He's going C. No, he's going D. Wait, I don't know, C or D. He's going to go C borderline D. Robert De Niro, S tier for sure. I don't really need an explanation for that. Oh, I forgot to put Leonardo DiCaprio on here. Dang it. All right. I'll do Leonardo DiCaprio last. You guys will probably already know where I put him. But yeah. Uh, Ben Affleck, I don't know what this man is in. I'm going to be honest. He's the Batman. I know that for sure. I'm going to put him at C. That's the only fair place I can put him at. Jamie Foxx. Let's see. What is Jamie Foxx's vibe? I think Jamie Foxx is a great actor. Let me look up what movies he's been in recently. I know he was in Project Power. That movie was pretty all right. He was in Just Mercy. He was in Soul, the Django. Oh my God. He's been in a lot of movies. Okay. Okay. Just for the variety I'm seeing on this man's like list, I'm putting him at A. He's like A borderline B. He kind of fell off recently. Like he had no, not recently, but like he had that little downfall. I'm gonna admit that. Oh yeah, but now Brad Pitt. I'm gonna do Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio since they go in the same spot. S tier for sure. Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, a duo I will never forget. I didn't even realize, dude. Brad Pitt is like 60 something years old, and it's really sad because I don't ever want to see that man go. Brad Pitt is handsome. He is everything I could ever ask for in a living legend. And then Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio is the best actor of all time, in my opinion. He's been acting since like the day he came out of his mother's womb. Titanic. Like these are just movies like I can name off the top of my head with him in it, which is probably like 3 or 4. But phenomenal actor. We all know this. I have no need to explain it. But some of my favorite movies from him, I would say The Django, The Revenant for sure, Inception. Those are probably my 3 favorite off the top of my head. But he was great in Titanic. And Leonardo DiCaprio, just like you can't not like the man. He's just too good at acting. But yeah, that's basically my tier list, guys. I'm gonna screen grab this. So yeah, that is my tier list for actors. I'll make sure to do this one with Brantley if we can find a bigger list of actors. I think that'll be fun to do. But yeah, no, that's basically all I have for the stream, guys. The tier list is what the last thing I had on the list to do today on the stream. But I want to thank you guys all. Everyone who joined, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go live. I might go live tomorrow night. I might bust it down and go live tomorrow night. If I get all my work done during the day, I'm gonna try to do as much work as I can during the day. And if I get time, I'm gonna go live tomorrow night for you guys. But yeah, Falcon Soldier was great, guys. Invincible was great. I didn't talk about it on this live stream. My video did pretty good, so I felt like everyone who was gonna watch it or tuned in the live stream probably already watched the video. But yeah, Multiverse of Madness, awesome news. Black Panther 2, awesome news. Falcon Winter Soldier, had a great time talking about that with you guys. Wolverine show, Oscar Isaac, Moon Knight, Spider-Man No Way Home, everything that we covered in this live stream. Thank you guys so much for watching.